We've all heard the saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But is that the truth? Well, joining us now with the breakdown on breakfast is our friend, nutritionist, and licensed dietitian, Keri Glassman. Keri, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Always good to see you as well.
All right, you've got to bust the breakfast debate. Level with us. Is it, in fact, the most important meal of the day?
So here's the deal. It's actually debatable because research on both sides of the argument will say it is the most important, and other research will say, no, you don't have to have breakfast. So my personal opinion is I am a big breakfast fan. I have seen it work for many, many clients. When you have a breakfast, you lay the foundation for eating healthy for the day. You improve cognition, you may rev your metabolism, and it's a place to get in nutrients that you might not get the remainder of the day. New research shows that when people skip breakfast, they have nutrient gaps that they don't make up during the rest of the day. And when they do eat, they end up eating worse than if they had had breakfast. But that, of course, doesn't mean you go and have pancakes and donuts. The research was based on having nutrient-dense, high-quality breakfast loaded with high fiber carbohydrates, high-quality protein like eggs, and of course, antioxidants and healthy fats from things like avocado.
And Keri, we know how fashionable it is now, this intermittent fasting. So if you started your intermittent fast after dinner the previous night, then breakfast may come in the way. So how do you address that? And do you disagree that probably having something for breakfast trumps the benefit of intermittent fasting?
There are benefits to intermittent fasting, and for many people, it does work. But what I like to say is, again, if you are a traditional breakfast eater, I like you to eat within an hour and a half of rising to get your metabolism going, to have that breakfast that hopefully you make at home so you're controlling what you're putting in your food. But if you do intermittent fasting and that does work for you, I still like people to try to have that first meal of the day be around breakfast foods, because that way you won't skip some of those foods that provide nutrients that you might not otherwise get, like fiber and calcium and folate, for example.
Well, I know I'm a big fan of the Blue Zone book and the Blue Zone areas where people live to be 100. And, you know, the advocates there say that we should eat like a king for breakfast, eat like a prince for lunch, and eat like a pauper when it comes to dinner. So according to that rationale, you're onto something with having a proper breakfast.